Tonight, breaking news, the war in Iran, President Trump's new demand, and is Russia now helping Iran find U.S. troops across the region. And tonight, right here, the video of that American F-15 fighter jet being shot down by a Kuwaiti warplane in the air. President Trump now demanding Iran's unconditional surrender. Tonight, the White House is asked what that unconditional surrender looks like. Airstrikes intensifying across Iran. An Iranian drone carrier struck at sea up in flames. Sources now telling ABC News tonight the U.S. believes Russia is providing intelligence to help Iran target American forces. And tonight, we're now seeing the video showing the moment a U.S. fighter jet was mistakenly shot down by a Kuwaiti warplane in the air. Ian Pannell standing by live from the region. Tonight, with much of the Middle East relying on U.S. interceptors to block Iranian missiles and drones, President Trump now meeting with several major defense contractors, urging them to boost production.
Tonight, President Donald Trump issues a fiery demand. Iran must surrender unconditionally. As the United States and Israel intensify their relentless assaults, a disturbing revelation emerges. Sources tell ABC News that Russia may be secretly feeding Iran the locations of American troops across the region, including aircraft and naval ships. Today, the danger became real when Iranian missile debris ignited a blazing fire at a military base in Kuwait, where U.S. troops are stationed. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. Meanwhile, the White House is attempting to downplay the implications of Russian interference.
Right here with breaking news in the war in Iran, President Trump now demanding Iran's unconditional surrender. The White House tonight asked to explain what that looks like. And sources now telling ABC News the U.S. now believes Russia is providing Iran with intelligence on U.S. troops and where they are across the region. Tonight, U.S. Central Command releasing video showing an airstrike on an Iranian drone carrier. The U.S. now reporting 43 Iranian Navy ships have been struck. More than 3,000 targets hit. There's also new video tonight showing the moment that American F-15 was mistakenly shot down by a Kuwaiti fighter jet. Two other fighter jets shot down too. All of the American pilots survived. ABC's chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell on the president's new demand tonight for Iran. And this new concern Russia is now helping to target U.S. troops.
In another ominous sign of escalation, 3 U.S. officials told ABC News that the U.S. Army abruptly canceled a major training deployment, a move fueling speculation that forces may soon be sent to the Middle East. At the center of the speculation, the elite 82nd Airborne Division, the Pentagon's premier ground combat unit, which could deploy if tensions erupt further. Officials emphasize that no orders have been issued yet. Still, Iranian officials warned that sending U.S. ground troops would cost thousands of lives. Now, the world's largest aircraft carrier, USS Gerald R. Ford, is moving into the red SEA. The Pentagon claims the United States has already struck more than 3,000 targets inside Iran. Meanwhile, Israel released dramatic footage, 50 fighter jets pounding the underground bunker complex of the late Ayatollah Ali Khamenei in Tehran. Israel says senior Iranian officials were still using the facility, though the fate of those inside remains unknown. At the same time, Israel is expanding its campaign deeper into Lebanon, relentlessly bombing Beirut, a known stronghold of the Iranian-backed group Hezbollah. ABC News reporter Matt Rivers reports from the scene.
Clearly is not making a difference with respect to the military operations in Iran because we are completely decimating them.
Chaos unfolds as massive lines form, hundreds of thousands of civilians racing to escape after Israel warned them to evacuate their homes. Tonight, horrifying new details surface about a brutal strike on a girls' school in southern Iran on the very first day of the war. Iran claims 168 people were killed. In the aftermath, a child's textbook, soaked in blood, was found among the wreckage. Sources say the U.S. investigation is still ongoing, but officials believe it's possible American forces carried out the attack because U.S. strikes were happening near the school at the time. Retired Master Sergeant Wes Bryant, who once worked in the Pentagon office that assesses civilian casualties, told ABC News he believes the building itself may have been deliberately targeted.
I'm Matt Rivers on the scene.
There's another missile coming in right now. You can hear that explosion there. That was the second strike. There was one just before that, and that comes after a series of strikes all day long. And as we move into the night, it could be a very long night for the people down there.
Israel insists its forces were not operating in that area. Yet 6 days after the deadly strike, the United States is still investigating the tragedy, maintaining that it would never deliberately target civilians.
I could tell immediately that this compound was deliberately targeted. I know since we've seen at least 7 different target points that were individually targeted by munitions within this compound, very clearly.
Tonight, shocking footage surfaces for the first time. The moment a Kuwaiti warplane shoots down an American F-15 fighter jet. In video posted to TikTok, flames erupt from the U.S. jet as it spirals violently toward the ground. It was one of 3 F-15s accidentally shot down the same day in a devastating case of friendly fire. Both pilots ejected safely. Amid the chaos, there is some relief. The United States chartered a New England Patriots team plane to evacuate hundreds of American citizens from the region. So far, at least 24,000 U.S. citizens have escaped the Middle East since the war erupted.
We, of course, never target civilian targets, but we're taking a look and investigating that.
Tonight, growing concern surrounds whether the United States has enough missile interceptors to defend its forces and 6 allied nations in the region against massive Iranian missile barrages. President Donald Trump met with the nation's leading defense contractors, pressing them to rapidly increase production. The president has offered no clear timeline for the war's end, but insists it will conclude only with Iran's unconditional surrender.
David, the president demanding an unconditional surrender from Iran, something the regime's unlikely to agree to, amid growing concerns about how much intelligence Russia's now giving to Iran to help target American forces. David.
Ian Pano leading us off here again tonight. Incredible reporting all week long, Ian. Thank you. And much of the Middle East, as we've been reporting here, now relying on these U.S. interceptors to block those Iranian missiles and drones. President Trump now meeting with several major defense contractors, urging them to boost production. Will there be enough? Here's Mary Bruce.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said it may not even matter whether Iran formally announces surrender. Tonight, President Donald Trump told Axios that unconditional surrender could mean Iran publicly declares it, or simply reaches a point where IT can no longer fight because it has nothing and no one left to fight with. The president also claimed he would need to approve Iran's next leader, though he has not explained how that would happen. Meanwhile, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has vowed decisive action.
What does the president mean when he calls for unconditional surrender? Is he saying that the regime has to fully relinquish control?
What the president means is that when he, as commander-in-chief of the U.S. Armed Forces, determines that Iran no longer poses a threat to the United States of America and the goals of Operation Epic Fury has been fully realized, then Iran will essentially be in a place of unconditional surrender.
Tonight, President Donald Trump promises that the United States and its allies will work tirelessly to pull Iran back from the brink of destruction, pledging to rebuild it into an economy bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. He even revived a slogan, "Make Iran Great Again." The White House posted high-energy promotional videos on its official X account, mixing real images of deadly American strikes with animated graphics. But critics are outraged. Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth, a Purple Heart recipient who lost both legs in the Iraq War, fired back online. War is not a video game. She warned that 6 Americans are dead and thousands more are at risk because of what she called an illegal and unjustified war.
No nation-building quagmire,
Tomorrow,
no democracy-building
President Donald
exercise.
Trump will attend the dignified transfer ceremony honoring the 6 Americans killed so far in this war. When asked whether the president has spoken with their families, the White House said he plans to meet them tomorrow. Tonight, the nation pauses to honor those Americans and their families.
And President Trump tomorrow will attend the dignified transfers of the 6 Americans killed so far in this war. We asked the White House if the president has spoken with their families, and we're told he plans to tomorrow. David.
We honor those Americans and their families tonight, Mary. Thank you.